This is another episode of the Backstage Sports Podcast. I'm Joe Conn.
Woo!
There
I'm
we go.
JT Parker.
Straight off the top, bro. Yeah.
Listen. I'm still hungover from your wedding, bro.
Listen,
Right.
you hear my
Still
voice,
hungover
man.
from
I
your wedding.
think this is a result of that as well.
I'm
Man,
ready with
So,
everything.
that's
so
the
pardon my.
funnest wedding I've ever been to in my life.
Yeah, we took some. We got to catch y'all up. We took some time off for many things. One of them being my wedding, which both of these kind gentlemen blessed us with their presence at. We have a special guest today. We gotta first get him in here and introduce you guys to him. This is actually his second time on the show. He was on the very first iteration of the show. It was very different. It looked very different. We a little bit more on our feet now and up and running. So we had to get him back on. He is an amazing individual, amazing sports mind, as well as actor. And so we wanted to get him on, obviously talk some NBA stuff, but he's also doing a lot of very cool things in the acting world. And we also got to get a learned, educated actor's take on the GOAT LeBron James's new movie, Space Jam: A New Legacy. So we're gonna ask him a little bit about that. But his name is Jon Chaffin. Welcome to the show, bro.
What's happening, bro? I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming back, man.
Sir.
So we took a little break. I got married recently. JT was doing some moving and shaking, and he had some music come out over the past couple of weeks, which was cool. Tell us a little bit about what's been going on with you, JT.
Oh man, yeah, I moved. I'm in Woodland Hills, the city of heat. It's
Yeah, the
95
valley.
degrees right now. Oh my God, man.
Yeah.
Apparently that area, Canoga Park, Woodland Hills, is even hotter than the
It is.
surrounding areas.
Mhm.
Dude, it's cooking. It's cooking.
Yeah.
In a dope new building, a young building, a bunch of like entrepreneurs, the people doing music, people doing all sorts of businesses. So that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
And other than that, I got this little guy here who's
Whoa, the quarterback. What's up, buddy?
quarterback, man. Dude, I was telling you, Joe, John, listen to this. So remember Mac 10, the
Yeah,
rapper?
Yeah.
yeah.
So he's coaching this football team. And Austin's baseball coach says, "Hey man, we got a football team. I don't know if you remember Mac 10, but I'm like, Mac 10, the rapper Mac 10? Like West Side Connection?" He's like, "Yeah, he's not a hip hop guy." So I'm like, "Dude, I was raised in the 90s. I was like
Yeah.
a hip hop dude. Like, yeah, I remember Mac 10." So he's got this football team. Shout out to Oak City Niners.
Nice.
And so we show up, and I already know the team's going to be good because the dad had told me. So we show up. He goes, "Hey, have him just jump in and throw." I'm like, "Cool." So he jumps in. First throw, Matt goes, "Oh, he can throw a little bit?" I was like, "Yeah, he can throw a little bit." He's like, "Cool, he's our quarterback." Dude, they got weapons. John, if we can get you up for a game, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
You got to come and check out some of the. He's
I'm
got
definitely
two
going.
kids on the team. His son and his stepson. Dude, these two kids are beasts, bro.
Yeah.
One is like a reincarnation of Julio Jones.
Oh,
It's
wow.
gonna be a fun season. It's gonna be a
Yeah.
fun season. But anyway, my son, who I thought would sit the bench, is playing quarterback. So there we
Yeah. The starting QB. That's how I will address him from here on
go.
out.
Blows my mind.
Yeah.
QB1.
Right, QB1. That's his new nickname for me. Okay, so Mr. Jon Chaffin, as my wife affectionately calls John, Mr. John. Can you tell us a little bit about what's been going on with you? You've been moving and shaking a lot, and I seen you working on a couple projects. You have a new project about to come out, a new show about to come out. Tell us a little bit about that from producer 50 Cent. So congratulations on that. But tell us a little bit about that as much as you can, and what's going on and where people can catch it and when it drops.
Yeah, so BMF, Black Mafia Family, is a new series that's going to be dropping on Starz
Mhm.
September 26th.
Yeah.
It's going to be dope. It's
What is it about?
Well, it's based off of the true life of Demetrius Meach Terry,
Big Meech.
Big Meach Finnery and Terry Finnery, the brothers that was pretty much kingpins. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? They pretty much rose themselves up to be one of the top urban drug. I had to use the term drug dealer, but
Yeah.
drug distributors.
Yeah.
You know, entrepreneurs, business
Yeah.
entrepreneurs
Yeah.
in American history. Man.
Distribution.
Yeah.
Distribution experts, you know,
Yeah.
and in American history, you know, having grossed over, 270 mil in sales and all that good.
Sheesh.
But basically, so they're doing a show basically on their story of their life, and His son, Lil Meech, is going to be playing him. Da Vinci, he's going to be
Wow,
playing
his actual son.
his actual son. He's
Wow,
gonna
I
be
didn't know
playing
that.
him. I'm playing older Meech, so I'm playing him at an older age at 35.
Wow, that's dope.
I'll also be doing the voiceover throughout, what I'm saying,
Wow.
narrating the show.
Yeah.
Wow.
So kind of
Shit.
like how Raising Canaan is going on.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So it's gonna be dope, man. I can't
Yeah.
wait for it to drop for everybody to see it. Like I said, it's inspired by the events, but it's not all
Yeah.
true events. Some stuff is, glamorized for TV, but it's gonna be a great storytelling. Can't wait for y'all to check it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna drop in September.
September 20. You said it's
Dude,
20
oh,
26.
September 26th. Make sure you guys go check that out and
Yeah.
support your boy here.
John, is this like the most? I don't know your entire body of work, but I know you've done some big things. But is this like some of your like the most excited you've been for a project?
Yeah, it's up there, man. It's up there. Blind Spotting was definitely up there.
Super dope. Blind Spotting. Blind
Yeah,
Spotting was a big one.
Knots, which is coincidentally this tonight is going to be like the series finale is ending.
Mhm.
I did like 4 seasons on that show.
Yeah.
Uh, everything I have opportunity to jump in, man, is definitely a blessing. But this is definitely one of the shows that I was like, because I'm from Atlanta, and they were pretty much running Atlanta when I was coming up.
Wow.
So they was big dogs. I remember the billboards,
Yeah.
throughout the city. They had about 4 of them. So being able to be a part of the telling of this story and to play Big Meech was an honor, and I got a chance to meet his family, um, which was really dope, and just
Mhm.
let them know that for me as an actor, my job is to tell the story and
Yeah.
not try to show a characterization of him, but who he
Mhm.
is. So for me, it's really just an honor. It's really my first time playing somebody that's actually alive, a real
Yeah.
person. He's still
That's
alive.
hard. That's hard as an actor, right? I mean, that's got to be hard to me. I have the most appreciation for the actors that have done the Ali's, like Will Smith and the Ray Charles. Like to me, when I think about iconic, Denzel when he played Malcolm X. Like to me, when I think about iconic moments for actors, it's always a portrayal of somebody.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
Because it's tough, you know what I'm saying? You're literally putting on the shoes of somebody that is that walked this earth. Whereas,
Yeah.
a lot of other times we kind of these characters that we play are fictionalized
Yeah. Yeah.
versions of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So putting on the shoes of someone who actually walked in them is a responsibility. So
Mm-hmm.
and I hope that when they see it, the family and him, they're proud of the work.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting, man, because I don't know if you know who Pooh Bear is, but he's a huge songwriter. He's like Justin Bieber's main dude.
Yeah.
And he was my mentor for a couple of years. He's one of the most naturally gifted writers or creative people I've ever had the opportunity to be around. And I remember there was a big dispute, and this is like 12 years ago, about they wanted to make a BMF movie. And there was a big dispute because he's from Atlanta. And there was a big dispute over who had the rights to make the movie. And he had people that wanted to make the film in the studio while we were working together. And there was like he was told that he had the rights. T.I. was in the conversation, all these other guys, and all Atlanta-based people. But it was like a big deal. I was like, man, this sounds really serious. But then I don't think anything ever got made. So it's
Nah,
interesting that they're now dropping the show.
Yeah, this is going to definitely be the first, and I'm glad that they're doing it this way because they have, like I said, they have younger Meech, Lil playing his father at a young. They're starting the story off at a young age, so you can really see how they kind of started off and got grown, and they involved the family, which is important. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't like, it always kind of gets under my skin when people do, they do these biopics, but they don't involve the family of the person doing the story of.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, which in my opinion is a little disrespectful because it's like this is the family, you know what I'm saying? But at least have some, say in the story. But the fact that 50 and them actually went to the family and the family's involved, that's gonna make the story that much better because you get the real deal, and not somebody's idea of what might have happened.
Yeah.
outside looking in.
Yeah.
You know?
For
Yeah,
sure.
So
well, it sounds like it's gonna be a super dope show.
yeah,
If you guys haven't seen it, the trailer is out. It's on John's page, but it's on YouTube. Go check the trailer out.
and on
You'll see it.
Stars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's on Stars. You'll get excited as soon as you see it. Okay, so let's jump into it. We're gonna hit these real quick. This is an interesting NBA Finals that is going on. It started out where everybody kind of thought it was going to be over sooner than it was. We thought, I know I did personally. I thought, and you guys can let me know what you thought, but I thought when the Suns jumped out 2-0, I'm like, congratulations, Chris Paul. It's a wrap. He's gonna get it. And then it just flipped, and the Milwaukee Bucks rattled off 3 straight, and now it's looking like it's about to be over. So my question is, what was your take of the first, the first couple games? We weren't on the podcast for a while, but what was your take when you were watching the first couple games of the finals, and who do you blame for this seemingly epic collapse of the Phoenix Suns? Is it Devin Booker? Is it Chris Paul? Is it Monty Williams? Like, who is it? Is it Giannis or somebody from the Bucks? Who do you blame for that?
I'll tell you right now, and we had this may have been the last show we did before you were in full wedding mode, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
But when we saw the Nets that were not healthy and did not look like they were going to be able to get through the series with the Bucks, what did I say?
Mm-hmm.
I said if they can't go and the Bucks win this, I got the Bucks winning the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the reason why. I love the Suns team. I love CP3, and it would not have shocked me if they won it all. But this Bucks team, this is why I like them, and this is why I think they're doing what they're doing right now. They are a homegrown team who's made little changes here and there, not the big splashy moves. Even the move for Holiday was not a huge splashy move.
But it was a key move.
Yeah.
A lot of people overlooked it, and you and I, Joe, were like, dude, this dude
that's a big
is a
move.
really nice addition.
Yeah.
Even though he's an all-star, but he's not like the big splashy one of the big splashy point guards. But defensively, he's a beast, and he knows how to run an offense, and he'll show up in the moments where you need other scoring. And that's what he's done. But the main reason, outside of just the fact that this team was ready for that next step because they've just been going through pain after pain after pain, is Giannis. Dude, even in the losses, Giannis was balling.
Yeah.
And he's balling now in situations where they were able to shut him down in the past, and now they're not able to do it. It's just figuring it out. He's a young dude. He's a young dude who's been playing basketball for 12 or 13 years, and we're seeing it come to fruition right now. Man, he's out of his mind right now, the way he's playing. Still doesn't have a jump shot, still can't shoot free throws.
Yeah.
But he's figuring it out.
I didn't even think he was going to be playing in the finals after that injury against Atlanta. I was like, I was like, we might see him next season. So the fact that he's doing what he's doing after having that type of an injury is mind blowing. And JT, his free throw shooting has gotten a little better. He's even speeded up the time that he's taking. Thank God, right. But I would say I knew it wasn't going to be a quick series because, for one, the Bucks is hard to beat in Milwaukee. I think they've only lost one game at home this playoffs, if I'm not mistaken, and that was Atlanta. They came in and stole a game at home. I mean, we thought they was going to be done when they was down 0-2 against the Nets, and they got blown out by 39 in game 2.
Yeah.
So I already knew that this was going to go at least 6-7 games. Now, I did not think Chris Paul would be the hindrance that he has been these last few games.
There it is.
And in my opinion, he is the main reason why they lost the last 3 games. I knew they weren't going. I was hoping that they would steal one in Milwaukee, but I was like, it's going to be tough to beat Milwaukee in Milwaukee because that crowd, the energy, the way that they play at home, it's a tough environment to go in and win, and it's going to be really tough for them tonight in this game 6. But I did not expect to see the turnover ratio with Chris Paul, and to be honest, I gotta say Drew Holiday is probably the reason why the Suns have had this slide because he's been locking Chris Paul down.
Yeah.
He's been locking him down.
How the shit is he defensively, man?
He's clutch.
He is so
clutch.
good,
and he had that big clutch steal, which if they win this championship, that play will be an iconic play. You know what I mean? Everybody's gonna remember him stealing the ball at the end of that game.
And that's what they needed. That's what they needed too, because I love Eric Bledsoe and I've loved some of the other guys that come through there, but they needed a lockdown type guard that could really handle these moments because they've always been so young. That was their thing, right? They're really good, especially at the guard positions. They needed somebody who could really come in. And like for a minute, I was like, the holiday pickup's nice, but this may not be their year. And look, they're on the brink. They're on the brink of raising the trophy. It's crazy.
Yeah, to me, if to answer the question, it's Chris Paul to me. I'm pulling for Chris Paul. I actually think that, you know, if I had to pick a player, Giannis out of the Stars, Giannis versus Chris Paul, who I think I would pull for to win this championship, it would be Chris for many reasons. One, he's towards the end of his career. He's been at this for a long time. He's had epic failures in the playoffs. And he doesn't have much time left to go here. Like, I don't know how many years. If, you know, after this year, he has a player option, which he'll probably exercise. And he's going to ask them, there'll be security years. He's going to say, I want 4 years, but he's not going to be Chris Paul, the superstar, for 4 more years, if you ask me, right? So I think that he's at the end of his rope in the league. And I think that I think he's too good of a player to go down as to be thrown in that category of one of the greatest players to never win a championship, right? I think he's one of the best floor general, purebred point guards that we've seen in NBA history. I think he's up there as one of the best purebred point guards. So my emotional side is like pulling for Chris Paul. I think that Chris Paul is the reason why they took this slide. You know what I mean? Because he also was the reason why they were propelled to win in the past couple of series when he came out with 41 and 8 and 37 and 9 and 35 and that, I mean, those are the games that really propelled them into a position to be where they are. And then something happened, and he has 10 and 7 on July 14th. He has 19 and 9. That's not enough. You need Chris Paul to be superstar Chris Paul. You need Chris Paul to be closeout Chris Paul from the Clippers series for this Suns team to win this championship. So to me, it's Chris Paul.
That speaks to how good Holiday is too, because all the talk was Beverly's this great defender, and he is a good defender, but maybe he's overrated. Holiday's not. Holiday's underrated. That was the most undervalued and under talked about pickup. It was covered a little bit, but not many people were talking about it. I wanted him for the Warriors. That's how much I think of Holiday. I really like him. That's huge, man, because he's shutting them down. And Giannis right now, we're seeing him finally like figuring it out when he needs to. Not that his game's perfect, but all these years of losing, a lot of people just blow up the team. We thought they might have to blow up the team after this season. Yeah. Right. And instead, I mean, some things have gone their way and they're healthy, which is huge, right? They're healthy, but man, he's putting up a month. Could go down as one of the best final series ever for a big man. That's how well he's playing.
Man, I was reading some of that. It was like Chris Paul would be the first player to lose a best of 7 series when up by 2.
Yeah. So, and he did the 3-1. He had the 3-1 thing. You know what I'm saying? Like these things are going to haunt him. That's the other thing is I don't want to see these things haunt him like this because he already has like a couple stains from the past, especially those Clipper years.
Right.
So that'll be interesting to see how it affects his legacy if he does end up losing this. So there's been big conversation around the dynamics of the Bucks superstars, the Bucks stars. If I don't know if you consider Chris Middleton a superstar, but he's played like it in spots. And the big debate online in the Twitterverse has been whose team is it really? Who's Batman and who's Robin? A lot of people took offense to guys like Kendrick Perkins coming out. People on the talk show saying, you know what, if we're being honest, Giannis is really a Robin. Giannis is really not a Batman. And when we see the Bucks win, it's because Chris Middleton is playing his Batman role. Do you agree or disagree with that? I'm gonna start with John because John looks like he's perturbed and he has something to say. So go ahead, you can start it off.
First of all, Kendrick Perkins needs to just stop because he's over here talking about the Suns, his dynasty, and all this shit. They about to get knocked the fuck out without even having won. You got to at least win one championship to even be. I mean, to be even. So I don't even be listening to what Kendrick Perkins is talking about.
Yeah.
But first of all, they would not be where they are right now if it wasn't for Giannis.
Okay.
They wouldn't be in the final if it were not for Giannis. So you can't say that the best player on your team is a Robin. Like that doesn't matter. I mean, we don't even know which Chris Middleton is going to show up night to night.
That's
He might
okay.
be a 40-point Chris Middleton night, or he
Yeah,
might be a 17 and 10 Chris Middleton. We don't know,
yeah.
but
But
we
I
know
think that's his point. I think
from Giannis.
his point. I think his point is that they kind of go as Chris Middleton goes, not as Giannis. Because to your point, and I want you to respond to this. But to your point, when you look at them and their and their individual games as we go out through the finals and just through the playoffs, Giannis has been the more consistent player, right? You know he's going to show up. He's going to give you like 30 and 15 or 30 and 13, something like that, right? But you've seen him do that and them lose. And then you've seen him do the same thing, be super consistent, but then the superstar Chris Middleton shows up. And then they win and they win.
And that's a problem.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Batman is consistent.
That means your guy that has and look, we've ripped him. A lot of other people have ripped him in the playoffs, but now Giannis, there's no question he's got to be Batman because you just said it in passing, like, oh, he's gonna show up and go for 30 and 15. Those are legit numbers. But now you don't have to worry about him not showing up because he's figured it out. Now all he needs is his other, whatever you want to call him, sidekick, superstar, all-star, whatever we're calling him. He just needs him to show up, whether it's huge or whether it's 30 points. And now they got another guy, undervalued all-star Holiday, but he's still the dude. Like, they're not winning a championship if Giannis isn't doing his thing. And he's doing it in a way, not only is he offensively pushing them, and he is the spirit behind this team too. He is in their face. He's like, let's go, this is our time, which I think is huge because I don't think he was always a great leader. He's still young, but now he's a leader. And also defensively, it's like having Rudy Gobert on your team, and he's also putting up 30 and 15. That's what Giannis is.
And
Go ahead, John.
I was going to say, nobody is looking for Robin to come save Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like when the bad sign goes up, Batman is coming.
But see to that analogy, to his point, right? To that, this is why I don't think this analogy is so crazy as far as Giannis being a Robin, is because to that analogy, if you want to talk about that type of thing, when it's time for the Bucks to be saved, it's Chris Middleton. I've seen plenty of times in the clutch where, first of all, in the clutch, more often than not, they go to Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton is their clutch guy. He is their closer. Which logistically, as far as we talking about basketball, he has to be, because Giannis is not a shooter, and Giannis really is not going to create his own shot past 10 feet, right? So Chris Middleton logically needs to be the closer, right? But so when you say things like, well, who's coming to save them? You can argue it's Chris Middleton who's coming to save them. That's where this argument, I think, is born out of.
But
then
go ahead.
So I was gonna say, even just along that vein, we've just seen him save them twice now. Giannis, he had the huge block against Peyton that no one else would have gotten but him. I watched that replay. I can't even believe he got there. He was completely out of the play, was completely out of position, and got back and made a huge block. And then he had the didn't he have the game-winning putback or dunk the other night? Like, he's had two moments just in this series or in the last two series where it's like he literally saved them. And it's like, who I think of when I look at Middleton, and I won't lie, I'm not sure how good of a defensive player he is, but Joe Johnson is a very underrated player. And he's one of those guys that if he had like a Giannis type dude, because he was a great closer. Offensively, in his prime, he was one of the best players in the league, but he couldn't defend a mop. And he couldn't do a lot of the other things that you need a superstar to do. But if he had a guy like Giannis that could, and a guy like Holiday that could, Joe Johnson would have been a guy getting the ball and finishing out these games. He just was never in his prime in a position to do that. That's how I look at Middleton. He is, a Paul Pierce type player who can get it done at the end of games. But without Giannis, they're not even in a position to win those games.
Yeah. Thank you, because I was going to say, Chris Middleton is coming at the end after Giannis has already scored 38. Got 13 rebounds, about 8 assists. Giannis is already done, and they still need somebody else to step up. And that's where Chris Middleton comes in, and that's where Drew Holiday can come in to help. But if Chris Middleton is not going to play his role as Robin, then it's going to be harder for Batman to defeat all these motherfuckers that's coming at him. Excuse me. But it's going to be harder for him to fight off the Joker and, all these cats.
Yeah.
Robin can show up and assist in what Batman Giannis has already been doing, and they have a better chance. And that's why I say Giannis is Batman and Chris is
Yeah,
Robin.
and this is kind of the new formula too. Players that in the new types of offenses and the new teams, the way they're built, players that really don't care if they're Batman or Robin. Giannis doesn't care. Giannis just wants to win, and that's one of the reasons I really like Giannis, because he's a likable kid, and all he wants to do is just win. He doesn't care about the numbers. He doesn't care about all the glory, whatever. He wants to win, and having them just be unselfish, and then Holiday again, like those personalities work great together. None of those guys care about anything except they want to win a championship. Right?
Yeah, I think to Giannis's credit and to your point, JT, I think the thing that shifted for the Bucks, not the Buccaneers, for the Bucks, is Giannis changing his mindset and not doing things that he's really not capable of doing. Not standing out at the 3-point line and taking 30-foot 3-point shots, and not taking, they will leave him open. We've seen him in other series. They'll leave him open and stay 5-10 feet back from him and dare him to shoot. And in past series, he's taken that shot and they've lost. We've seen him lose those games. Now, if you leave him back, he's just gonna come up. He's just gonna go run, charge at you, and Euro stab you and go to the basket. So I think I understand both sides of it, where people are seeing that and going, well, Giannis is being smarter about his shot selection, and he's not as so much trying to be the Batman that we see on other teams. Because he's not going to be the Kobe's, he's not going to be the LeBrons, he's not going to be those type of Batmans, the traditional type of Batmans that we see. To your point, John, he is unselfish, and I think now he's realizing, I'm not that guy. I'm not that type of Batman. I may be the leader of this Bucks team, but I am not that type of guy. And we've seen him be comfortable allowing Chris Middleton in spaces to be the guy. And I think that's what changed for this Bucks team. Because I think had that not changed, everybody would just be building the wall and forcing him to shoot, and he'd be taking those shots, and they'd be bricking, and they'd be running the other way, and they'd be losing all these games by 10, 15 points.
Yeah, I mean, he's taken a page out of Shaquille O'Neal's book. Shaquille O'Neal was probably always the best player on the Lakers. Maybe went near the end when they moved him, Kobe was. But even when he would always call Kobe Batman. But like Kobe was not Batman when Shaquille O'Neal won the MVP award, and he was unstoppable, and he couldn't shoot a lick, and he couldn't shoot free throws, but he bought into the offense and just let Kobe do his thing where he needed to. But Giannis is Shaq. Giannis is the new Shaq, a freakishly athletic guy, over 7 feet tall with crazy long arms that no one physically can stop. And now he's learning what he needs to do to get it done. I think that's all it is. His basketball IQ needed to be raised. I think we're seeing.
That his IQ changing, I think, really was the shift for them.
He also needed James Harden to be hurt and Kyrie Irving to be hurt. But
well, that part too. Now that's a conversation. That is a conversation for a whole nother podcast, because that is a big part of it.
16 and not 15 and a half. That's what he needed.
Yeah, that part too. We can talk about that later down on that line, which we have to address the fact that this is the playoffs of a lot of luck for both the Suns and the Bucks. So let's go to your hypothetical, right? We're gonna make some picks because I don't know that we'll be on the air before a champion is crowned. So who wins this NBA Finals? Does this go to a Game 7? Who wins this NBA Finals, and who's your Finals MVP?
Oh man, you know what? Before Game 5, I said I was still rocking with the Suns because I did not expect for them to beat Milwaukee in Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm like Milwaukee because I don't see Phoenix beating Milwaukee in Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. So I got to switch my pick based off of the way that the series has been going and how the superstars have been showing up. And if that goes the way that I think it will, then Giannis is definitely the MVP. I mean, Chris Middleton has a case.
Yeah, he has a case. I don't think it's going to be as closed and shut as some people think it is.
I think Giannis, because Giannis has been consistent.
Yeah.
He hasn't had a game off. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't took any games off. And the fact that he's doing this after, like I said, that atrocious, nasty injury is just very telling. So I think the Bucks gonna close him out tonight, man. Honestly, I think the crowd, the energy. I don't see Phoenix coming in unless they can get a great, first quarter. But even still, you got to play 4 quarters because we
Mm-hmm.
saw the boys come back from like 18 points in game 5 and beat them. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is like your classic example, and this is why I liked the Bucks that they get through the Nets because, again, you've got Holiday who hasn't been a part of this team, but he's got all the experience, and now you've got a team that's just been suffering every year, but they've been there. Right,
Mm-hmm.
they've been right there. They just needed to get over the hump. And once it's all mental. Once you mentally get over the hump, because Phoenix physically is good enough to beat them, but Peyton's never even been close to this stage. Booker's never even been close. They weren't even in the playoffs, were they?
Yeah.
They've been missing the playoffs. Now
Yeah.
they're in the finals, and now you got CP3. They can kind of focus on him and say let the youngins like figure it out. Because man, at this stage, you don't see teams as young as Phoenix and as inexperienced as Phoenix win championships. So I think you're seeing it. I mean, 3 in a row after being down 0-2. That's experience. That's not
Yeah.
just physical ability. That's experience of figuring it out. I don't see the Suns being able to beat them now 2 games in a row. I don't see that happening. And when they win it, Giannis is the MVP. I mean, even when they lost the first 2 games, he himself was unstoppable. I think the numbers and everything, he's gonna get it. And defensively, I know Gobert's been winning the defensive player of the year lately, but Giannis is every bit as good on the
Yeah.
defensive end.
I wouldn't be surprised if this went to a game 7. But I think the way it's been looking, I don't know if there's something off with Chris, like if there's something wrong with Chris Paul or what. But I don't see them. I don't see them actually winning this series anymore. I think that the Bucks win, and I think that Giannis will be named MVP. But would I be surprised if Chris Middleton has 2 amazing games and it's a close race, and it later comes out that maybe it was closer than they thought it would be between them or whatever. I wouldn't be surprised. I also wouldn't be surprised if Chris Middleton actually won Finals MVP. Depending on how these next 2 games will go, I wouldn't be surprised. But I think the safe bet is definitely on Giannis. So
you said these next 2 games. So you're saying that Phoenix is going to beat the Bucks in Milwaukee tonight?
No. I said I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to 7 games. Like if I had to pick, I think Phoenix does win tonight. I think they do win tonight.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if they lost. If they didn't lose in the Bucks. So I'm picking the Bucks to win. But something in me is telling me that it'll go 7 games.
If it goes 7, Phoenix is going to win. I don't see Phoenix losing a game 7 in Phoenix. I think the crowd is going to be electric. I think Chris Paul will show up.
Mm-hmm.
But not only does Chris Paul need to show up, Book has been showing up, but somebody else got to step up.
Yeah, that's a fact.
And that's the problem. And this is why I didn't love Phoenix, and I was surprised at the run they've had, because Ayton, I like Ayton, but as your third guy, like Tobias, I know they have some other scoring, but like he's kind of your third guy, and he's that dude that needs the oops. He's not the guy that's gonna just go get you 20 on his own. That's tough because you're big 3 with Milwaukee, and then you got Lopez, you got other guys that can do it. That's a hindrance. He needs to improve his offensive game and get it done. But dude, like Holiday needs to get a lot of love right now because we talked about this, Joe. Kevin Durant called him the best defensive guard in the league, and that's huge praise, especially because he's not very big. So like he's really showing his worth right now. He's really showing his worth, putting a lot. Maybe CP3 is not 100, or maybe Holiday's just that great of a defensive player and nobody's been talking about it. But for KD to say that after all the guys he's been up against that's high praise. High praise.
Yeah. Okay, before we get out of here, we have a learned, educated actor on the show today, and we need to get his take. Now, first of all, did you see the GOAT James's new movie Space Jam: A New Legacy? Did you see?
I don't know who the GOAT James is. Who is it? Is this a
new
guy?
LeBron GOAT James. LeBron GOAT, the GOAT King James.
I watched it. Yeah. It's on my to-do list. I am going to watch it. I've been so busy I haven't had a chance.
Yes. Oh, and it just came out this past weekend. Yeah, it just came out. It's only been out a couple days. It's done amazing at the box office. They said 32 million was the opening. It beat out Black Widow. It obviously beat out the original Space Jam at 24 million. So there's that. That's another thing that Jordan comes in number two with LeBron James. So I saw it. I thought it was cool. I thought people originally they were talking about how the critics, the Cisco and Ebers and Rotten Tomatoes, before people actually saw it, they were talking about the low ratings from the actual critics, and then the people came out and saw it, and the people gave it astounding numbers and critiques. So I thought it was cool. JT, did you see it?
I haven't seen it, but I thought it was real nice of the studio to be like, okay, we had the greatest player of all time do the first one. Who should do the second one? Oh, second greatest player of all time. Like who else would we pick? We're not gonna pick the third greatest player of all time. Like we gotta go with the second greatest player. And I thought that was really, really smart of them. Really smart.
I haven't seen it. I've been reading some of the reviews, and I'm like, some people had some negative stuff to say, but I was like, folks, first of all, the movie's not made for adults.
It's like that. Say that again. The Space Jam, all the Space Jams, 1, 2. This is not. It was a kid. It was a kids movie. It was a movie for the kids. The Jordan one and the LeBron one is a kids movie. But we got grown men beefing over who was the better actor and who, like, they weren't both playing themselves. Like, it's weird. It's got really weird.
For you, adult man, it's for the child to enjoy and go out there. It's like, come on.
It's gotten really weird. They were arguing the other day on Undisputed about like the plot and the premise. Like, yo, this is like we're talking about cartoon characters here. They're talking about, well, this plot was better than.
You don't have Michael Jordan or LeBron James, who are not actors, play the main role in a movie if it's for adults. It's for kids to have a good time.
They're trying to judge this like it's going to be up for an award season or something. I'm like, it's a feel good movie.
Yeah.
Go take your child to go enjoy and see Bunny and your favorite basketball player in the movie together. I mean,
and not only that, we need to be clear too. This is not. It's not a sequel. Like it's not Space Jam 2. I know we hear a lot of people say it, like we just kind of throw it out there casually because you hear the first name and you think, oh, this is the second Space Jam 2.0. It's not. So when you go to watch it, just go watching it with the understanding it's a different movie. It is Space Jam : A New Legacy, and it is a new movie. The plot is very different. The Looney Tunes and everything are the staples, so they're going to be the same, but it's different. It's a different movie. They took it in a different direction. I thought the direction that they went in was cool. Don Cheadle was amazing. He was Don Cheadle, and I thought that it was cool. The different, they modernized it. They added all these little. It was a lot of WB Warner Brothers plugs in there and all this stuff like that. But it was different. It was a different movie.
People need to understand it's not the original plot that followed the greatest player of all time. It's a new plot following a new different player. That's amongst.
It's the new GOAT. It's the totally movie coordinating the new GOAT.
As a matter of fact, and the first movie had arguably the greatest small forward of all time in it, Larry Bird. He was in that movie. Yeah. So LeBron James being the second greatest small forward of all time, that's a really big deal.
You're right. At the time, there was the greatest player of all time and the greatest small forward. And now 25 years later, both of them have been bumped to the side. Mr. Jon Chaffin. No. This is fact. Mr. Jon Chaffin, thank you so much for joining the show today. Tell the people where they can follow and support anything that you got coming up.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you having me, bro. It's always fun to catch up with you guys, man. Y'all can catch me on IG at Jon Chaffin. My handle's right there. Facebook, Twitter at Jon Chaffin. Like I said, as new stuff come out, I'll be posting. Let y'all know what's going on.
Yeah,
I'll update it.
Yeah, please do. And make sure you go see BMF. It's out September 26th. Yeah. Our boy is in it, and go check out the trailer. It looks like it's gonna be super cool. So go support him in that. I'm at Joe Connor 33 on everything. My band Mantra Gold just dropped a single yesterday. It's called The Answer. This song has been like 4 years in the making, trying to get out. You, as independent artists, you can understand that just putting out one song can take a lot more effort than it does for somebody who is signed to a major label. So this is the passion project for me. Mantra Gold we're super independent. We're all super close friends. And it's just feel good music. And we're finally getting the ball rolling with some of that. So go check it out. It's called The Answer. It's on everything right now. And follow at Mantra Gold, at Mantra Gold. Also, the second leg of the Otherwise tour is about to start. We leave in August, so next month we're getting ready for that. Go check out the dates for Otherwise. And you can go get tickets at otherwise.com. We're coming down south. We're coming pretty close to the East Coast, so go check out those dates. We also announced the third leg dates, which are going to take place in September. So we're gonna be back out in the world, moving and shaking. If you see me at a show, come say what's up to us.
Before I say my stuff, I want to ask this: what was the name of the talented woman that sang at your reception?
Sharon. He's talking about Sharon Youngblood, but we love
Dude, she was sitting next to us. She was sitting next to me at the table, and she went up to sing. And I want to apologize publicly to her for throwing my bread at her. But everybody started throwing things, and it was the closest thing to me. I just threw it because I was so pumped.
I threw my bread at her. I threw my roll at her. Okay. She was singing her face off. And I threw a biscuit at her. Like, I thought
I saw another thing of bread, so I was like, I just threw the dude. She was.
Yeah. So, and that comes from the Pentecostal church where we come from. When somebody is singing their face off, you throwing things at them is a sign of respect. It's not like when you see in the old movies where where a comedian's on stage and they're throwing a tomato and they're throwing stuff at them. No, from where I came from the church, when you throw something at somebody, it's because they're murdering it. So I was throwing everything that was in front of me at her because she was singing her face off. She sang Anita Baker. I can't remember the song, but she slayed. I could stop at she sang Anita Baker and she slayed it.
Yeah. At JT Harker for everything. The latest single, All the Above, just hit I think a little over 30,000 streams. It's been out a couple weeks, so that's dope. And the next single, TYX, which a lot of people are excited about. I'm pumped up about. It was written by 6 amazing writers that are way better than me. That's coming out, I think, August 6th, so I'll keep everybody updated on that. But we're excited about that one. And yeah, it's at JT Harker. There's some big things coming, so I'll keep you updated.
Dope. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. Please continue to share and support any way that you can. Until next time, this has been the Backstage Sports Podcast. Be safe and be great. Peace.